Okay, you have the NFL Week 1 power rankings. So at number 10, I have the Tennessee Titans down 5 spots. Uh, I, Titans, they're getting Derrick Henry back, but they didn't really improve their team that much. They still have an okay offensive line. They still have Tannehill, who's an average quarterback. Their defense, I think they have a good defense, but they just lost Harold Landry, which I think is a major not good for their defense. But I think Titans, they still have a very overall solid team. And they're getting Derrick Henry back, and they still have a very good defense. I still see them as top 10 right now, but we'll see. In number 9, you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady's not retiring, but I think their offensive line, they lost a ton of pieces, is not going to be good. But overall, they still have a very good skill position players, especially wide receiver, and a very solid defense. They didn't really lose much other than a cornerback. This team is still, it's always going to be good with Tom Brady, but I think that line is not going to hold up, which is why they're lower here. And then you have number 8, I have the Green Bay Packers down one spot. And Packers, they lost Devontae Adams, but they did draft a wide receiver and bring in Watkins, who's okay. And you still have A.J. Dillon, Aaron Rodgers, obviously, Aaron Jones. And I think they improved their defense a lot. They're getting Jair Alexander back. And I think this Packers being this high is mostly because of their defense. Number 7, you have the Philadelphia Eagles. Huge jump in the offseason. They brought in so many pieces. The offensive line and defensive line were already good, and they're even better now. Linebackers, great. They brought in Reddick, drafted a few players. Cornerbacks, they got Bradbury. Safety just traded for Johnson. Um, they got AJ Brown. They brought in so many different players, and they lost like nobody. It's all up to Hurts now, and I can easily see this being top 5, maybe even top 3 in a few weeks. Number 6 being the Ravens. Ravens, another big team in the top 10. And Ravens is just them getting a bunch of players back from injury. Their defense is still solid. Offense, they still have Lamar Jackson back. They have all their running backs now. I expect them to improve and do a lot better since they're now healthy and they didn't lose anybody in the preseason other than their mascot. Then number 5, I have the Kansas City Chiefs down 2 spots mainly because of losing Tyreek Hill. Um, they did bring in Juju and MBS, but he's no replacement. But they still have Patrick Mahomes in their defense. They did lose a cornerback, and they didn't really improve. So their defense still isn't great, but I can't put them lower if they have like the best QB in the NFL right now, and they still have the best tight end as well in Kelsey. And I don't see them being any lower than 5 right now. And then number 4, after LA Chargers, and another team that improved a lot like the Eagles. Um, they traded for Mac. They got J.C. Jackson in free agency. That should help. I'm still slightly concerned about their linebackers and part of their defensive line, the middle part, but they still have Derwin James on offense. They're pretty much the same offense, which was very good last year. So I can see them. So I can see them definitely being very, um, just being a good team this year. And number 3, you have the Cincinnati Bengals. They improved on their weakness, being their offensive line, brought in Karras, brought in Collins. But other than that, they really didn't improve much. Only offensive line, which is their major weakness. But other than that, they didn't really improve much. And number 2, you have the Buffalo Bills. They improved their defense with Von Miller. They drafted a cornerback. And Bills, like personally, they brought in Von Miller, which is a huge plus. But other than that, they also didn't improve much. But they were really good last year, so they didn't mean much improvement. And I can definitely see them being second best team right now. And you have teams that drop out, the Niners, Trey Lance starting, and they're kind of a wild card. They still have a very talented team, but their quarterback is really inexperienced. Dallas Cowboys, they lost Amari Cooper, and they lost their left tackle, and they just didn't improve and actually got slightly worse. Similar to the Patriots, they lost a bunch of cornerbacks. They did get younger, and they did bring in Parker, but they just lost too much, and their offense has not looked good. And then you have number 1, which is still the LA Rams. They brought in Bobby Wagner, brought in Robinson, and didn't really lose anybody huge other than Beckham, who they replaced, and Bob Miller, who I don't think they 100% need. And they're the Super Bowl chance. I have to put them at number 1, and their team is just still very, very good. So there you have it, my NFL Week 1 power rankings.